Wow. So Avatar 2, The Way of the Water is the long-awaited sequel to the 2009 Avatar movie. And that movie, at least from a special effects standpoint, still holds up really well today, even against all the modern movies that we have. But the movie itself, I thought it was a good movie, and it was one that I did go back to a few times, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best movies I've seen, specifically when it comes to a James Cameron movie. But I can't deny the fact that Avatar does have its place in history, not just being the biggest blockbuster of all time, but also from a technical standpoint as well. So Avatar 2 is here, and does it repeat a lot of what Avatar 1 does? Well, in terms of box office grossings, we're not sure yet, but in terms of other things, after seeing this movie, I definitely have some thoughts on it. Now, on today's review, I will be doing spoilers, so if you have not seen the movie, then I highly recommend that you go watch it first and then come back to this review. And so the general story here is it's been about 13 to 14 years since the last events of the original Avatar. Some of the humans stayed, and obviously Jake Sully is now a full-on Na'vi with Neytiri, and now they actually have kids. They have 3 kids that are their own, but they also have an adoptive kid in the form of Kiri, who is actually the child of Grace, or Sigourney Weaver's character. And that's where things get interesting, because in this one, even though things are the same, it's really focused on the kids and the differences that the Avatar or Pandora world has experienced since then. And also we have returning characters, specifically Stephen Lang's character Ulrich, who was the original villain of the first movie, but now he's also a full-on Na'vi along with his Marines. And then of course, the Sky People, or humans from Earth, are here as well. But this time, they're back for a different reason. And the whole purpose of this is to basically turn Pandora into the new Earth, because the current Earth is dying. And so in this case, they're either going to have to get rid of all the Na'vi or make sure that the Na'vi conform to the new Sky People way of doing things. And this is similar to the first movie in terms of taking the resources, but it's also a little bit different as well. And because of all these things, and specifically because of Quaritch trying to kill Jake Sully and the people who actually wrong him, they actually have to escape. And so they leave their homeland, which has been partially damaged again because of the Sky People. And now they actually enter a new Na'vi clan, the Mayakin. They're actually a water-based Na'vi. They do look different, and they have different attributes as well. So now Jake Sully, Neytiri, and all their kids have to adapt and be accepted by these new ones, while still trying to evade and basically survive from the incoming onslaught of Quaritch and the Sky People. So let's talk about the best and most obvious thing about this movie, and that is the special effects. Now, I saw this in IMAX 3D, and I gotta tell you, the effects were absolutely mind-blowing. This was an experience that it's really hard to explain. And I really haven't had too many of those type of theater experiences here recently, or even in the past 5 or 10 years. And the last time I saw something that really blew me away this much in a theater was actually this year with Top Gun 2. It just gave you a cinematic experience that you really can't get anywhere else. And because James Cameron is behind this, I was just in awe. In all of the 3 hours, I just kept looking at the screen and was just silent at the absolute beauty that I was seeing on here, especially when you get to the Met Cayenne, the water parts. I don't know how they did that. And as you are watching this, these effects and everything that's going on, the best thing about James Cameron's movies is that the effects are so good, you kind of forget their effects and you get lost in this world, the characters, and everything surrounded. And that's exactly what happened here in Avatar, but even to another level. This is by far the best looking movie that I've seen in forever, probably since the last Avatar movie. And I kind of thought its special effects were getting a lot better, especially with the Marvel movies. But once you see Avatar 2, everything else looks like crap. let's just say that. So if you want an absolutely amazing, unforgettable theatrical experience with the best effects you've probably ever seen, then Avatar 2 has it in spades. And then when it comes to the story itself, even though in general this is a simple story, meaning that it's mainly about family, the environment, and just this coming of age stuff for the kids, overall, the way that James Cameron does it, there's something special about it. And he does this on purpose. Because if you think of any big James Cameron's movies, whether that's Terminator 2, Aliens, The Abyss, Titanic, and on and on and on. It has a James Cameron quality where his movies tell a story with characters that you can relate with, and at the same time they produce a lot of emotions. And especially at Avatar 2, where you're basically spending 99% of your time watching CG character blue people, for the simple fact that he could actually bring emotions out, whether it's sadness, happiness, whatever the case might be. That is something that only a true master of filmmaking like James Cameron can do. And so in this case, even though the story might seem simple, it's actually more than that. And the simple fact that you care about this world, the characters, and what's going on means that James Cameron has done his job telling the story of Avatar. Now, when it comes to the characters themselves, Jake Sully, Neytiri, and a lot of the characters that you really did enjoy, especially Quaritch, they're all back, but they have changed. Specifically with Jake and Neytiri, they're now playing more the role of parents, and with that comes different responsibilities and an evolution of their characters. And so a lot of this movie is about the kids. There's two boys, there's two girls, but one of the girls is actually Sigourney Weaver, or Grace's character. She actually got pregnant after passing over to Iowa, but her Navi body was still alive and somehow she got pregnant. So that's one of those things that's not truly explained, but I'm guessing it's going to be a setup for something later in other sequels. Specifically, this is probably a Iowa baby, you know, naturally gifted to Sigourney Weaver's character, and that's why Kiri has some of these special powers, which I'm pretty sure is going to be explained later. And all of the kids, I really did like them. But the two characters that they focus on the most was like the second oldest son, who actually has a special connection with the token, this whale-like creatures, and one specifically is an outcast, and that is why he's important to specifically this story. But then there's also Kiri, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. She is very special on her own. And then we have Spider, who's actually the son of Quaritch from the first movie. That I didn't know he had a son, but he was basically a baby at the time. He couldn't leave with the rest of the Earthlings, and so he basically grew up around the Navi, and he is a Navi just in a human form. And this creates another dynamic, because this is one thing that's great about the characters that are written in James Cameron's movies and here in Avatar, is that they evolve and they actually serve a purpose. You might not see that now, but you'll probably see more of that later. And with Kiri's character, I'm pretty sure she's going to play a much bigger role, especially when it comes to Iowa and this whole planet, you know, this whole energy that's there. But Quaritch's son, Miles Quaritch, he's probably going to be a villain later on, because as you see in the movie, he actually saves his dad, you know, or the Navi version of his dad. And this will come into play later, because unlike the other Navi kids or the other kids of Jake and Neytiri, he's not really their kid. And especially with Neytiri, she doesn't trust him because he is a human or a sky person. And he's also the son of Quaritch. So I'm pretty sure he's going to play a lot bigger role later on in other Avatar movies. But the characters here, I really enjoyed almost every single one of them. They're characters that are likable, relatable, and they also change and evolve by the end of the movie. And when it comes to the acting, I think all the acting here is just top notch. Whether it's Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Kate Winslet, Stephen Lang, any of the characters here, I really, really did enjoy their acting. They were written well, and the way that these actors were able to portray these characters, bring performances and life to these CGI characters, is really a testament to the overall strength and quality of the acting that we have involved here. So no surprises here. Excellent acting across the board, and they'll be here for the rest of the Avatar series as well, and that's always a good thing. So if you enjoyed them in the first Avatar movie, you will enjoy the characters here, both old and new, because of the stellar acting involved. And then the final thing that Avatar 2, or I would say with most James Cameron's movies, does so well is that it's hugely entertaining. This is why you go to the theaters. This is why you watch movies. You want to go escape, go to different world, different characters, just take your mind away from everything, and Avatar 2 does this so well. And this is why I I really feel if you want the best experience, go watch it on the biggest screen possible with the best sound and really enjoy everything that James Cameron and his entire team has produced here in Avatar 2. And I would say you will have a really great time. It's fun, and this is the whole point of going to movies. If you love reading books, then check out Audible, which has the largest selection of audiobooks anywhere on the internet. Sign up today and get a 30-day free trial. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, when it comes to the negatives of this movie, some people might have an issue with the overall runtime of this. This is a 3-hour-long movie, so you're probably definitely gonna have to take some bathroom breaks. And there's also some parts that are a little bit slower, specifically the token whales, the sea creatures, and the underwater scenes. But I feel they do serve a purpose, and it's also where you're gonna get the most awesome special effects in the movie. But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed Avatar 2. This is a highly entertaining movie that is great for the entire family, and the whole experience is just second to none. So if you did enjoy Avatar 2 or Avatar 1, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. And if you did have any thoughts on what they're going to do in future sequels to Avatar, I would like to know those as well. So as always, if you did get value out of this video, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode.